As I said, I'm Catherine from Thinker Blue, and today we are talking about diet culture, which can be kind of a scary topic. But this week, I asked followers, what is the biggest thing that's the biggest challenge that is getting in the way of parenting your kids to have a healthy relationship with food? And a bunch of people wrote in to say diet culture. And they also said that, having a positive relationship myself as an adult with food is necessary before I can carry on any of those messages to my kids. So these are incredibly legitimate concerns. And because people are so concerned with diet culture, I wanted to hop on and talk quickly about three things that are really necessary to know about diet culture before even thinking about how to parent your kids to have a healthy relationship with their bodies and with food. The first is it's not your fault. Now, for anyone who's a Good Will Hunting fan, you're probably laughing at me right now and thinking that I sound a little Robin Williams, and maybe I do, but it is not your fault. We have the tendency, especially as women, to, even when we're aware of a way that we are being hard on ourselves, there's still a lot of self-blame. And I wanted to be sure to emphasize that there are a lot of other factors at play out there when it comes to diet culture and body image. So please don't be hard on yourselves and understand that there are so many factors involved that are all kind of, swirling around and happening at once that create this major diet culture that's hard to take down. The second is that diet culture is capitalist. There would be no money in women loving their bodies and loving everything about their appearances. So at its root, the beauty industry and the weight loss and nutrition industries are based in trying to make money off of mostly women's insecurities about their bodies and their appearances. So it's in their self-interest to continue to highlight the things that are that women should feel negatively about themselves. And we spend time thinking about that. So whether it's eye creams or lip plumpers or eyelash extensions, cellulite creams, the shapewear, the cutest stiletto heels that make your legs appear longer, nutrition systems, exercise programs, Fitbits, everything. All of these products are marketed toward people with the intent of making them feel bad about themselves so that they buy more and more. The beauty industry and the weight loss industries will never say to you, hey, as long as you are, walking or doing some kind of activity for half an hour a day and you're trying to get some fruits and vegetables servings every day and you wear what feels comfy, great, good for you. No, they're not going to say that because there's no money in that. So remember that diet culture is steeped in capitalism and trying to make you spend more money on yourself because of those insecurities. The third one, this one might sound a little bit sort of conspiracy theory, paranoid-ish, but diet culture is designed to keep women down. Again, I know that may sound a little paranoid to people, but it is designed to keep women down. If women were not worrying about their appearances and their bodies and what they look like, they would have a ton more mental space to be running the world. And that's just a fact. A couple of years ago, and hi for folks who've joined in. A couple of years ago, I was at a clothing drive, helping out in the back, folding clothes as a volunteer, and I was with two women, maybe about in their 50s, who were both talented and skilled and experienced and have graduate degrees and all those wonderful things. And they spent about a half an hour talking about losing weight and how those, last 15 pounds are so hard to kick. And not only was I completely bored, but I was so saddened because these smart, amazing, accomplished women were spending so much time talking about their bodies. And, to one extent, it's expected because we have sort of built, it's socially acceptable for women to hate bond over hating their bodies. We never have conversations where we say, I love how I look, don't you? No, that doesn't happen. People would be turned off by that, sadly. So there's an incredible amount of bonding that happens over our communal self-hatred, sadly. And, so this is something that takes up a ton of our mental space. Just think about, every time tomorrow that you have a thought in your head about the way you look to other people, if you were spending that time making the world a better place or working on your own personal development, what would happen? What can you dare to think about those possibilities? So those are the three things. I know this kind of can be a heavy conversation, but just to recap quickly, the three things I wanted you to know about diet culture was, number one, it's not your fault. There are a lot of forces at work. Number two, it's a capitalist industry that's based on making money off of you disliking your body and your appearance. And number three, that it's designed to keep women down and thinking about other things so that we're not ruling the world yet. And it's working. So this diet culture conversation came out of a blog that I wrote this week about helping kids with intuitive eating. So if you haven't caught that yet, head on over to the blog, scroll all the way down, and it's on the homepage. So, part of helping our kids with intuitive eating is not only respecting their bodies and what goes into them, but ensuring that our children have positive body image. So, but it's really hard for us to do that if we don't feel okay where we are ourselves. And there's a lot of work to be done, believe me. I know you can't do this in 24 hours. This is a long journey for a lot of people. But as parents, and especially as mothers, because that's about 90% of my audience, we owe it to ourselves and especially our daughters to be working on our body image every day, to be dismantling diet culture, to be talking about it with our friends, and making a new world so that our girls and all of our children can feel confident about themselves inside and out. So thank you so much for joining today. And I'm happy to take any questions that people have or any concerns about developing positive body image that you have. As I said, it's a very complicated topic, and this will not be the last that you hear from me on this topic. There will certainly be more to come, but feel free to, either in the comments below or send me a DM about, what your questions are and what your challenges are when you're trying to be a positive role model for your children.